Yes, I've been a tutor with Studylon for several years. I am a teacher in a state school in North London, and I currently teach mainly Year 12 and Year 13 A-level maths and further maths. I was fortunate enough to study at Cambridge University, where I studied maths, mainly towards the end specialising in applied maths, so mechanics, cosmology, fluid dynamics, those sort of things. They were the things that really interested me. It is really hard, but I was quite lucky. The school that I was at sent quite a lot of pupils to Oxford and Cambridge, and the deputy headmistress there specifically chose my college because they were interested in taking in comprehensive pupils. And I did very well at the interview. They asked me to read a couple of chapters from a couple of books, but I actually read both books thoroughly and then wrote out a whole text about what I thought about each chapter. And the interview went so well that they gave me an unconditional offer of 2 E's. So that took the pressure off a bit. I think it's called Methods in Mathematical Studies was one of the books. It's a long time ago now, and I can't remember the name of the other one. But we talked a lot about things like Möbius bands, that sort of thing, some quite pure and abstract ideas, but I was really interested at the time. So it went well, and then I would have done fine anyway, because I still got 4 A's. So they were slightly overlapping. One was maths I did in Year 12, and then in Year 13 I did pure maths and applied maths separately. They don't do that so much now. Now it's more sort of maths and further maths, and physics I did as well. I worked very hard, but it paid off in the end. Yes. So yes, so I have a master's in a master's degree in maths, but then after university I decided to go into finance. So I did that for a long time before eventually starting in teaching. I got my PGCE about 10 years ago now, and I've been happily teaching various, well, between Year 7 and Year 13 since then. Oh, in South London, Southfields, an academy down there. So yeah, and that was about 2014, 2015, I think, something like that. It's very hard work. I enjoyed it an awful lot. I've still got many friends that I speak to from my year group, and it's many, many years ago now. But it was a special time in my life, yes. I went to work for an investment bank straight away after that, and it was a good, even though I was quite young and inexperienced, it was a good starting pay, I seem to remember. But it didn't last long. It was around time of the stock market crash, and I didn't last there long because they got rid of a lot of staff after that. So I then decided to move into trading derivatives. So that's futures and options, originally on the London Stock Exchange, trading options on UK stocks, so things like BP and Shell, that sort of thing. And did that for many years until we moved off floor when computers were really sort of getting going good. In about 1998 we went into offices, and then I had a company, Barnes Derivatives Limited, and we traded from offices, which was nowhere near as much fun, and ultimately it became a somewhat dull job. So I decided to look back into what I could do and thought I could do some teaching. Having got a maths degree, I thought I'd go into teaching and see if I can give something back and do something useful for the kids. So A-level maths, it consists of well, it's over 3 sittings, if you like. The first, you've got the paper 1, which is a pure paper for 2 hours, and then paper 2 is another pure paper for another 2 hours, and the content can be mixed between the two. And then finally you have a stats paper and a mechanics paper, which you sit together over again 2 hours, and they all make up a third of your final result. No, there's no, all are weighted the same, so you get an overall mark from those, and there'll be grade boundaries, and depending on how hard the paper is where you'll fit in those grade boundaries. It's pretty hard to get A star. Over the time that I've been doing this job, I think we've had about 4 or 5 A stars in total. So we get either none or 1 each year maybe, and A star, yeah. But and it's not so bad. A itself is not so bad, but A star is pretty hard. You've got to work pretty hard, do all the homework, and have a gift as well. You've got to be able to do it in the first place. So it's a combination of things, but working hard is very important, yes. Anything extra that you can do, whether it be getting a tutor, whether it be looking outside, maybe you'll do a particular board. Well, don't just stop with those papers. Try other boards' papers too. It all helps, and practice all the time. I think that all roughly the same level. The most popular is Edexcel, and that's the one I teach. But I think they're all very similar. I like doing questions when I'm set papers. I often set papers from different boards. I like to mix it up a bit. I think it's really important that you think an idea, even though the syllabus is pretty much similar, to be honest. There's not much in it. So one thing is, you can't do further maths unless you do maths. So the next thing is, it tends to be a bit deeper. And it's certainly, if you're thinking of doing anything maths related at university, it's a very useful A-level to have. And it's a little bit different to maths in the sense that there are options available. You've got the core pure sections, but then on top of that you can choose, depending on your school, to do further pure maths or further mechanics or further statistics or further discrete maths, depending on what your school can offer. So, and that will take you right up to sort of preparing for university. So it's a very useful A-level to have. But it is harder than A-level maths, and A-level maths is one of the hardest A-levels there is anyway. So in our school, we ask that your GCSE, that you have at least an 8 before you can start that course.